Well, W
350th too.
on 350th too, so we aren't.
You know, big and such a king.
Three. But I have to go back to Mike White's to,
Yeah, that one's fairly good size, but pretty ugly, isn't it?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there's a couple of them. Yeah, last week you did,
I thought it was really.
I guess not last week, the week before last.
I think there's
You get the pouring, so we did two pours on Friday, Saturday,
You know,
this past week.
I don't know if she'll.
Sunday maybe, and yeah, they would be crap.
Yeah,
I'd be.
so there's,
And I actually got the road open, main traffic covered
Yep.
up pretty well, so I closed the whole.
yeah, you were part of that, like the year before, that out, so. Waiting for someone to complain that it's planting season. Well, I was.
I've already heard that.
You've already heard that?
Yeah, I said this is consistency.
Constituent.
Yeah, they overlap.
That's something we could pass on.
Complain about that.
They've been farming every year. I don't get the same. Like,
Rough road, y'all talk.
I saw something on my Twitter feed where, it was, like a complaint thing.
They get scientists.
Thank you.
Put a complaint.
I tried to prep them at home, and Mike
Don't
said
make
it's
a lot
out
of
of
sense,
ink,
you
and then
just
they
want to
came
send
out.
this to them so that.
No, we have enough for the whole month.
I said, okay. Take a
Thank
couple of pictures and send us an email.
But,
We need,
yeah.
we gotta have something. Gotta have something we can do.
Yep.
Be happy to. See if you can.
I just- when do we do it if we don't do it?
Right. Yes, our little.
We live in the north where
Yeah.
construction season's.
May is here. I hear one.
Yeah.
You got highway 90.
Decor is worse than you.
Yeah, this is a big project they've got in mind, you know?
Is that what?
Is that a pretty big project? they're
Oh,
doing?
yeah.
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 Is this one here somewhere?
It's actually better though, turning in, alternate, you don't have to wait for the light to turn, you just, 2 lanes, I mean, it's pretty,
Yeah,
it's fast going,
yeah, so let's move them through.
yeah.
I'd hate to see it at about 3:30.
No, I was worried about 7:30.
I'm not sure where they're cutting across, and they have the green by the hotel and then back underneath the bridge.
No, I think that one is closed too. I think you gotta turn into town.
Town and come up, middle Kelmer coming
Yeah.
out.
I think that one right across from the newest motel or that motel, I think that one's closed too.
They were turning in there, yes.
Were they?
Gravel weather, but they're tearing up, they're dismantling that pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't like it? Like visually or from?
The deconstruction or the tear down is a lot quicker than.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't have to let
But
concrete cure.
Burning's right now.
Right.
You don't have to let concrete cure, you don't have to warm up, you don't have to,
No,
all of those things.
We got
No,
it's about,
He's really good. You don't have-
I like how fast it gets made from one end.
Not now.
Yeah.
You might back that was- they might cut some progress here.
Well, it's 9:30. All those in so choose, please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order with everyone present. As a reminder, the meeting is being recorded. If you choose not to record, you have the option to leave it. First item on the agenda this morning, Michael Kueny, our county engineer, with the road project update. Go ahead, Mike.
Pretty non-descriptive week, Bill Grant, nothing new this week, subdivision, the High Point East, I don't think we're gonna go through with, so there's nothing new this week. Some work has been done in Quarry Hill, memorandum of understanding. Um, Got something this weekend, from Andy for their review. We'll send the final edits and send it over to the city and Williams.
Is that projected to be done this summer?
That's gonna be after Broodings. That's on their schedule, so. I hope so. Maybe it might be, they want to get all the rocking done and it might be done in the fall.
Okay.
The initial draft has until December 31st. So,
Good enough.
yeah. Bridge 307, off of Bridgeway, east and west pier pile footings and stems have been constructed. Work on the caps on those piers are next. W40 pipe installation is done. We got one of the pipes done. We got two pipes in W40. 350 feet concrete patching operation is ongoing. That will be happening for the next 8 weeks or so. Rock resurfacing operation is finished on One Blade District in District 5, and we'll begin hauling on Ocean. That is going to continue hauling through Ocean today. The request for striping quotes for the northwest quadrant fog lines and the county center line, the entire county center line, have been sent out to vendors. W40 and B32 fog lines are included in this quote. So W40 should be out of sealed. And then we'll just have the stripers stripe when we get the stripers into the county. We sold the tandem truck number 544 for $11,000 and the semi truck for $5,000 at ISA's auction this past week. Debris from Bridge 107 South Pier was removed this week. Bridge 143 wall issues and scour issues were remediated. They had a wall that was tipping in. We have some scour that was happening on the inlet side of the bridge.
Where's that bridge again?
It's on A18, close to the W20 intersection there. It's a very large box culvert. I need to go look at the scour issue, see if it was completely addressed. The dirt patcher operated out of Freeport and Ocean this past week. We met with Caterpillar rep on Wednesday to discuss the cat options for mulching head attachment to the scoop. We have had discussions with John Deere on that as well. The diamond mowers attachment is not big enough. It's not robust enough for what it is we were looking for. So new locust blade operator position was open Thursday. We've received one app since Thursday, so that goes for 2 weeks. And then Ocean tinning of cold storage, and then smaller repairs to occur this coming week, and then the Fort shop repairs, including tinning, finish over the last couple of weeks. That is the report. Any questions?
Just one so far, but it's hard for that.
Just was one been open for one whole day, so it's still early. And we have word that someone else is interested. You like what we've seen so far.
Yeah, we had an email on the west end of Metal Arc where that big pier dust issue. They want to control dust, they can put it down.
It hasn't been the county's position in the past to offer dust control.
we need dust control in the whole county.
Yeah, no,
That's not
I mean, it's up to them if they want to spend their money.
absolutely, if
Yeah.
if it's a special Brunings Hall operation, we can talk to them about with water or dust control on those as they see fit too.
They ain't really special all metal or can.
Yeah, I don't
Everybody
know.
gets across there.
Correct.
It's unfortunate that this is next to a daycare,
Daycare,
but it's.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else. Did you want me to stay for the next session? On the agenda? Second part of
I
the,
think you should, that'd be a good idea.
okay,
That's fine.
yeah,
Is there
I
any,
was anticipating that I would be here for that.
you made mention of some calcium chloride trial you were going to do. When is that scheduled to proceed?
Well, the calcium chloride, we would, that's kind of happens after we get our ice control this year.
Mhm.
We did apply one load at the intersection of Conover Road and the Prairie Farm Trail there. I have not gone and seen how it operates. I mean, I saw it installed, but it's, you can't really see the extent of the calcium chloride treatment.
Takes a certain amount of rain.
Yeah, I think we've had rain since then. I just haven't gone and see how, if it's knocked down the dust. And then the idea here is also more than the dust control is the stabilization of the road. So it would be something that how it wears. So I have not gone and done a second look at that, but I did go and check that day when it was installed and blade mix and spread. So,
Yeah, I'll swing by there and take a look at it. It's on my way,
so, yeah, it's, I mean, I think you drive down there quite a bit.
it would be, I'm hoping it works out well, because that's a real safety issue
Yeah.
that we could really help with.
Yeah, it just, because we only did one load, you still are gonna have that dust that's hangs out in the air, kind of just migrating slowly with the wind. So that. We'll see how that plays out.
Are we gonna use the rest of that ice control rock for just spot rocking?
Yes. So some dead ends and things like that. So that's kind of up to the different shops, what they want to do with it. Locust shop is out, so.
And we have a big pile on Ocean.
Yes, well, the guys in Oceans are pretty frugal, so and maybe they can be, they're a little bit flatter than Locust, so.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair enough.
yep.
What do we have for consent agenda?
I just have the minutes.
I'd move to approve the consent agenda.
Enjoy.
Well, we all get to vote on it. So we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That is opposed. Do you have any committee reports?
I do. I met with Community Action last week and I'm on their fundraising committee. So there are sheets over on the table for the public. This entire month is Community Action Network month. And we are fundraising all year, but especially this month. So if you have it in your heart to donate, that'd be greatly appreciated. And there's information at the bottom of the sheet over here in this section of where to send your payments or do it online. So thank you for that.
I had Northeast Iowa Workforce Board, and they've pretty much the offer of consideration of merging with another district that wanted to merge with Northeast Iowa is pretty much set dead on arrival and pushed to the back burner unless something happens that makes it advantageous. It's really not any advantage to this district up here, and the function of that board might be a slight savings and some administrative costs, but it's merging another population area is about as large as what we are. But it includes two major metropolitan areas, Waterloo, Cedar Falls, and Iowa City, and so forth. So it's that whole piece just doesn't make sense when you look at it from our perspective.
So I've had people ask me, will we keep our offices here?
Yep.
And I said, as far as we
Iowa
know.
Works and the rest of that all stays the same.
At a Hawk meeting, the new director we hired as a part-time position already resigned. And so I did attend the early childhood Iowa on the report on what's going on with our district. And probably the best that can happen is if we would merge with another area. ECI may not even exist by the end of this year anyway, so to go through all of these. It's been frustrating, I guess, to say the least. The chair is also resigning, so.
If there is a murder, how big an area would that encompass?
Well, it depends on which group would take us in. It'd probably be about 10 counties, something like that.
Were they looking at merging that with HHS?
Well, that's the whole thing. HHS may just take over ECI. But
It was just.
everyone's going,
legislative
everyone is
debate.
going through all of these motions, and it's interesting because one person talked about at least two children dying in their homes, and then they're putting pressure on us because they can't find one of the signed contracts for the daycare center. So that's what they spend a lot of their time on. So it's kind of interesting. The board is just, the ECI board itself, I think, is trying to find its direction and get straightened out. But I wonder if it's gonna, at some point in time, get merged in with a larger entity anyway, so.
Because that's what she was, when we talked to when she was up, when we looked at the video, she was saying she may have to pick up. That was just her, didn't say what, but.
Yeah.
It would
they
be
may
if they
have to
decide to
Pick up or
merge
find
all
more
of that
for
with,
people.
because it's actually under, but I mean, there's
Yeah.
these different layers that are getting peeled back, so. But it's hard to, we're gonna struggle to find a director when it's a part-time position and it's tentative as to what, and we don't even have a board chair. And our assistant direct chair is resigning also, so.
That was one reason why HHS really didn't want to give up space. Because
Yeah, because
we
we,
might be tasked. with
the
taking
board
it.
is down to basically the county supervisors and about 2 or 3 other people, which is, we're supposed to have probably 9, 10 different organizations involved, so.
It's Senate File 2488 that they did vote on, I think yesterday,
So
in their 40-hour session.
I'm sure we'll be apprised of what happened.
In here it says, the amendment agreed upon by both chambers would create an opt-in voluntary system to allow the existing 34 Iowa ECI area boards to choose whether to move home visitation contracts currently overseen by ECI through the School Ready Fund to the Department of Health and Human Services.
It's 9:45. The next item on the agenda, a couple miscellaneous items. First of which is review budget amendment request and set a public hearing.
I'll go through these fairly quickly, and then if you have specific questions, you can ask, or if you want me to get one of these department heads on the agenda next week or the week after, we can do that too. I'm looking at this page, looks like this, and I'm kind of compiles all of the budget amendments by department. The back of it then combines them all together countywide. This is what we're going to newspaper. Our county attorney requested $1,500 more for depositions that were related to that bigger court case they had, murder trial. Maintenance, we've got $2,408 in expense and revenue, that was that tree grant, Trees for Kids grant. And then I put the 60,000 remainder from the sale of the old DHS building into the maintenance budget, so we can use that to do remodeling as we move offices around here through the rest of the year. We might not get that full 60,000 used up by June, the end of June, but no, that's where it is for now. Roads department, Michael just basically went through all of his expense lines and tried to tweak them and also include about 10% extra in case there's some kind of emergency. He's not planning to spend it, but if there's a flood or something, we want to make sure there's money in there to cover it. His fund balance will reflect whatever doesn't get spent, but he's kind of minded that way. Veterans, they had an additional $3,000 grant from the state to help pay for their national training, so they have that both as an expense and a revenue in there, net zero. Conservation is also adding, you'll see there, this is all in the miscellaneous funds, it's REAP and FEMA money and another grant, so they're adding things into those funds that were unexpected revenues. Board of Health is probably the most difficult of all of these, because basically they have been operating under a restricted appropriation up until this point, but their budget did have those original amounts in. So this budget amendment reflects the lowering of those original amounts to meet what they need for their meet close to what the appropriation was. They've gone through basically, I'd say about 80%, 70 to 80% of their lines and changed them to try to match what they're actually going to need yet this year. They've got, I'm not going to go through line by line. I mean, some lines are going up, some lines are going down, but their bottom line is that your goal was to have them at 350,000 more than their revenue. But also knowing there was that 17,000 for that computer program that they were gonna. So if you take their expense minus their revenue, minus 350,000, minus the 17,000, it leaves about 8,000. So they're not asking for a large budget limit, but it's still just a little bit more than what you had originally requested. And part of that was when they made some of their layoffs in March, there was comp time and vacation time that got paid out. So that was several $1,000s they weren't expecting.
Yeah, had it not been for that, it would have.
Probably been right on the mark, but
That we did what they're supposed to.
Sooner.
than
July, like we were supposed to.
Juvenile justice, I'm adding more money in there because there was a more complicated case that had Andy could explain it further, but it had to do with two minors that were being abused, and so they had to appoint court advocates for those two minors, and the court appointed two different people, so we had several extra bills for those advocates to go to all of their depositions in court and so on. So it ended up being a little bit more in that. So that's $5,000. GIS, John maybe you remember when he was at budget time, he was buying a more robust version of their GIS as READ program. And then they're going to start using some of these, charging the city for getting on our system. So we'll see some of that revenue next year, but this was the initial purchase of that program, took a little extra more than what he had budgeted. I'll come back to Department 48. Well, I'll go through these one at a time. 48 is where we put things that aren't specific to a department, but the county in general. We had about $14,000 of expenses and $1,800 of revenue associated with that legal defense cost for the sheriff and the attorney general last year. We've got 10,000 added in for our labor costs with our labor consulting attorney, because we're about at the max already, and we still have some months left. I don't know if we'll need the full 10,000, but I want to make sure we got enough in there. Got 10,000 in the miscellaneous line. That's that goal setting report we had the Upper Explorer land do. That was a 2,500 or whatever that was about, and then we've been paying all of the utilities and maintenance and stuff at the old DHS building out of this miscellaneous county budget in the meantime, because we couldn't charge it through the DHS line anymore because they're down there now. So we've been paying that out of Department 48. The borough sewer, we've got a little over 20,000 to buy those new pumps and 15,000 of the insurance payment, and then the other 5,000 they're paying us back like $250 a month until they get it paid off. So we're covering it in the meantime. There's a big negative in the revenue, and that's because when we did the budget 16 months ago, we were guessing the sale of the DHS building at 500,000. So I lowered that to 310 because that's what we actually got, so we can have a more realistic budget figure there. And then recycling and solid waste, this is kind of together because when they kind of merged the two departments together, we had originally budgeted the purchase of that new truck out of rural waste collection, but they've done an analysis and they're splitting them about 60%, 40% or whatever the percentage is. So we're actually taking most of the expense of that truck out of rural waste and putting it into recycling because they hadn't budgeted it all for the truck, and rural waste had budgeted for all of it. So that's a big chunk of that. They're also getting another baler. These guys can update you on that if you want to talk about that, but that's where those are. So those are the budget amendments in a quick, just over 5 minutes.
On the miscellaneous county
Yeah.
line item, you mentioned the sheriff's department. How did that ever come out with the funds that the community was?
Right, so there was about 14,000 of expenses. And we had $1,805 of donations. But we had to cover the other 10,000 and change.
Thank you.
Yeah, part of, and Mark added this too, but we, at the recycling, Jeff Kabosik found a used reconditioned baler and in-feed conveyor that will allow us to take number 5s now from recycling, and we found a small market for those, so we can avoid that all going into the landfill. Which
That's all yogurt containers. All of it.
Cottage cheese, yogurt, all of the rest of this. Number 5 is a big deal.
Yeah.
TJ Chisel is really happy about that because that's a lot of product that goes into the landfill. We can avoid getting in there.
That's a lot
So
of
the people in the public will be happy to hear that now number 5s within 30 to 60 days will be able to, and they'll have a big release through the media and so forth to try to get that on.
Today I have to get the baler.
You gotta get the baler.
So it'll be another month or two.
Another month or two.
Another month or two. And
Number 5 recycling. Could be
That's it.
budgeted one recycling center soon.
And hopefully it will be installed or up by July 1.
That's great.
No, that can change, but it's the intent is the down payments needed to purchase it.
That's awesome.
We have to set a public hearing.
Yep, there's the resolutions right there. It'll be the Tuesday after Memorial Day at 9:30.
I move to approve the hearing.
Second,
We have a motion and a second to set a public hearing for May 26, 2026 at 9:30. For the amendment. Here's a resolution. Mark?
Aye.
Sure.
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
I also passes unanimously.
You want me to get any of the department heads in on those to give any more explanation? Was my quick explanation good enough?
sounds good.
Good enough.
Good.
Good enough.
Okay.
Up next, discuss courthouse office use.
I think Steve is ready to take the
Yeah.
lead on this.
As you know, since we did our tour and we've been through everything, it appears that, and the engineer was kind enough to make an offer of squeezing his department and making temporary space. We have, this is here is a layout of using the space down where Mike and Mike are down on the lower, on the lower floor of working the county attorney's office into there by adding one office in the center core, creating a reception area, and a clerk's office on that front section. And then in the hallway downstairs of the whole lower courtroom, we'll carve out a space where there used to be a building many years ago. There was walls in there, and we'll create a conference room that the attorneys can use for depositions and all the rest of this. It'll need to be soundproof for the attorney-client privilege issues and so forth, but all of that should work out well. It doesn't impede any traffic flow or exiting or ingress, so that is pretty workable. What was that used for before, Ben? Do you recall?
There was a Department of Revenue. The State Department of Revenue had a representative in there. His name was Bob. I can't remember his last name anymore. But that was his office. And then when they pulled him out, it was there for a while where it was the pop machine and snacks and things were in there for a microwave and such for employees to use. But
Pop machine to move across the hall.
That's easy.
But this is pretty efficient use of space, and it will give us time for some transition.
So Mike and Michael move up to the IT room.
However, they decide
Is
to
that-
work out the drafting, but we'll move, IT will then need
Over here.
be over here. I suggest that when we do that we take the lunchroom over there now, if you recall, is basically two areas. The second area is used the least. I'd like to see us just wall that off and leave that as a small meeting room or office space as needed. And put we have an option there to put another doorway into that bathroom to make that convenient. Do some fresh painting. And then in the kitchen area, I would like to see us do a deep clean and make that more attractive for the lunchroom use of the courthouse. I'd like to see us buy a couple of tables and chairs so that space can be used better, and basically a good deep cleaning and
all new paint and
New
carpet
paint,
probably on the whole
the
first
floor.
floor.
The floor is terrazzo. I think we could simply
Oh, yeah.
clean that floor and coat it like we did up here, and I think that would look fine. But I think that would be a plus for anyone that wants to use it. It's, as it is right now, it's not.
Make it a little
very
more appealing to go in there and use.
It's not very appealing.
Yeah, but if you go back to terrazzo, it certainly help with the mold issue if there is.
Yeah.
any.
And when they did do the mold test, doesn't appear that there is mold. Lupke added another dehumidifier down in the basement area, and that's been working very effectively. They did some Petri disk tests in three different areas in there, and they came up with normal things that would happen just in the particulates in the air, but nothing that stood out as being a mold problem, which is good to hear.
But that carpet was been there for a while. And it's quite.
Yeah, the carpet that we have, the one office that Ben vacated where books were stored, that's slated to be recarpeted and painted. I don't know if it's been painted yet or not. We do need, I do suggest we need to change out the lighting to LED down that hallway, which is the center hallway that goes down through there is unusually dark. And that would be, all of that would be a good positive. And it's not big.
So the gist is IT will move over there and we'll remodel the rest of that lower floor.
Mhm.
So Mike's department, how he wants to move some upstairs or some into the drafting room, however he wants to do that. Vacate the southeast corner. And then the county attorney would move into the southeast corner and use a new room that we would build into the center of the hallway.
And then down the road, we can look at other future options. You know, and
What's the
how,
total square footage on this southeast corner?
oof, I don't, it's gonna be it's gonna be shoehorning them in.
It seems
It
really
is.
small for the county.
Because
So
those-
that it's a 2 to 3 year temporary fix.
And we'll be able to provide some different space.
Based on,
Well, we can discuss that in a
okay,
little bit later.
You know, we had talked
Well,
about
can
moving
we?
the engineers, building a new office at Freeport. If we did that
Yeah.
expansion, then it could all be moved over there. It's not a dream, but it's also
We've got some other options, but this is, due to the short fuse nature of where we are with elections coming up and a new county full-time attorney coming in. I think this is the best mitigation, and Mike was gracious to step forward and make accommodations so that this could happen, where it was much more difficult for any other department. And it created a lot of uproar, so.
Not affecting like the clerk's office who had representatives here and Jared, the new assessor that's here. They're probably all happy to hear that it doesn't affect them,
Yeah.
only Michael that's getting.
thank you.
we also
Michael.
have a representative of Grassley's office here. I forgot your name already. Clayton Brown. I wonder if there are any infrastructure grants or programs that we could apply for that Freeport Engineers Office addition.
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I can talk with engineers from after this. and
Please,
Get us info. Look into it.
that'd be great.
I have been in touch with, actually, already. They're- As far as that goes, their first, next year's outlay is, we're past that, window, but they'll have, the requirements for the following years, coming up here late May or June, so I'm on their list to be contacted last week.
What program or grant opportunity did Joel use for the Fayette County Engineers?
I don't know that answer. I did know it at one time, but I've forgotten.
I
So
forgot to. Let's see if it's,
That was long gone.
well,
But ultimately,
worth looking into.
emergency management will be out there too.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah, that's,
I
a
do
lot of
have,
flexibility in this.
I have rough sketch because we have Freeport shop improvement and then we need a new road shop. Those, just speaking plainly here, those are gonna take, those will end up taking about the secondary road funds is what I'm gonna guess. And so I'm kind of looking, I've already been on a 2028 fiscal budget, kind of try to envelope how I'm going to address those.
That's more long term. I think the short term is Steve will coordinate it
Yeah.
with John Halverson to get this jail, IT room and this office going, because these we need by the end of the year.
sounds good. All right, moving on. We have a public hearing for the Bohr Smith rezoning.
Motion to open public hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second to open the public hearing. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. What do you have, Tony?
Barron Bohr happens to be here, wants to rezone 8 acres of land from A1 to AR to build a house on it. Planning and zoning commission held a public hearing a couple weeks ago, voted unanimously to approve it.
Does anyone have any questions or comments on this matter? Looks pretty cut and dried. Entertain a motion to close the public.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second,
Motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. This is unanimous.
Full first reading.
I'd move to hold first reading.
Second,
Have a motion and second to hold the first reading. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed. Unanimous. Ordinance amending the county zoning ordinance to change the zoning classification from A1 agricultural district to AR agricultural residential district for the herein described property, whereas a request for amendment of the zoning ordinance of Winneshiek County was submitted by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Said request having been acted upon by the Planning and Zoning Commission following a public hearing. And whereas the request for amendment of the zoning ordinance pertains to the following described real estate. The west 8 acres of lot 3 of 1 of 3 of 3 of the south half of the northwest quarter of section 25 of township 100, north range 9 west of the 5th PM, Winneshiek County, Iowa. Whereas the said zoning requested that the property be rezoned from A1 agricultural district to AR agricultural residential district. And whereas a notice of the time and place of a public hearing on said request was published pursuant to law. And whereas a public hearing as required has been conducted by the Winneshiek County Board of Supervisors. Whereas the Winneshiek County Board of Supervisors has considered the Winneshiek County Comprehensive Plan and the review of the applicant's request and does find that the request is consistent with the policies and goals set out in the Winneshiek County Comprehensive Plan. And now therefore be it resolved by the Winneshiek County Board of Supervisors, 1, that the zoning classification as to the following described real estate, the west 8 acres of lot 3 of 1 of 3 of 3 of the south half of the northwest quarter of section 25 of township 100 north, range 9 west of the 5th PM, Winneshiek County, Iowa, is hereby changed from A1 agricultural district to AR agricultural residential district. 2, that the zoning map of Winneshiek County, Iowa will be modified to reflect this change. Repealer. All ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with the zoning ordinance or inconsistent with the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent necessary to give this ordinance full force and effect. Servability clause. If any section, part, or provision of this ordinance shall be judged invalid or unconstitutional, such adjunction shall not affect the validity of the ordinance as a whole or any section, provision, or part thereof not adjudged invalid or unconstitutional. Effective date. The ordinance shall be in full force and effective after its passage and publication as provided by.
I'd move to waive the second and third reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to waive the second and third readings. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Anyone like to take action?
I'd move to approve the Bohr and Smith rezoning application.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the Bohr Smith rezoning.
Ordinance. Roll call.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Aye.
Shirley,
aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
I also passes unanimous.
One there, but I have
Oh. Yeah. All right, next up, we have public hearing on the Bluff Valley View LLC / Hovden rezoning.
Motion on public hearing.
Second.
Motion to second, to open the public hearing. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is now
Bluff Valley View LLC, Troy Hovden, applying to rezone land from A1 to AR ag residential to build a house on it. Planning and zoning held a public hearing on the Hovden rescope, voting unanimously to approve it.
I move to hold the first
And
reading,
Troy is here.
first reading.
Wait, we'll close the public hearing.
Oh,
public question or comments.
Sweet.
Oh, you're okay.
We'll give you a break.
It's like, it's repeat of what we just did. So.
Yeah.
yeah. I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to second to close the public hearing. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously.
I move to hold the first reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to hold the first reading. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Ordinance amending the county zoning ordinance to change the zoning classification from A1 agricultural district to AR agricultural residential district for the herein described property. Whereas a request for amendment to the zoning ordinance of Winneshiek County was submitted to the Planning and Zoning Commission, said request having been acted upon by the Planning and Zoning Commission following a public hearing, and whereas the request for amendment of the zoning ordinance pertains to the following described real estate. Lot 2 of Peter's second division of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of section 5 of Township 99 North, Range 9 West of the 5th PM, Winneshiek County, Iowa. Whereas this said zoning requested that the property be rezoned from A1 agricultural district to AR agricultural residential district. And whereas a notice of the time and place of a public hearing on said request was published pursuant to law. And whereas a public hearing required has been conducted by Winneshiek County Board of Supervisors. Whereas the Winneshiek County Board of Supervisors has considered the Winneshiek County Comprehensive Plan in their review of the applicant's request and does find that the request is consistent with the policies and goals set out in the Winneshiek County Comprehensive Plan. And now therefore be it resolved by the Winneshiek County Board of Supervisors, 1, that the zoning classification as to the following described real estate. Lot 2 of Peter's second subdivision of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of section 5 of Township 99 North, Range 9 West of the 5th PM, Winneshiek County, Iowa, is hereby changed from A1 agricultural district to AR agricultural residential district. 2, that the zoning map of Winneshiek County, Iowa be modified to reflect this change. Repealer. All ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with the zoning ordinance or inconsistent with the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent necessary to give this ordinance full force and effect. Servability clause. If any section, part, or provision of this ordinance shall be adjudged invalid or unconstitutional, such adjunction shall not affect the validity of the ordinance as a whole, or any section, provision, or part thereof not adjudged invalid or unconstitutional. Effective date. The ordinance shall be in full force and effect after its passage and publication as provided by law.
Move to waive the second and third readings.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to waive the second and third readings. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimous.
I would move to approve the change in zoning. for
I'll
this.
second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve Bluff Valley Views LLC / Hovden rezoning request.
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimous.
Tony, I've got a question for you.
I'll buy it.
If this had been included in our,
Maybe even.
in the revamp of our zoning ordinances to allow for additional dwelling units. Would that have mitigated this whole thing of not needing to create this separate parcel?
Are you talking about the accessory dwelling units?
Yeah.
No, the accessory dwelling unit did not work for the Hovdens because of size.
Yeah, but if we had approached, perhaps if we had approached that differently in that ordinance, we might have been able to accommodate these kinds of additions in the future. Would that be reasonable expectation?
Yeah, so if certain things didn't apply, like size in this particular case, then the Hovden would not have been there.
The reason we didn't go that route is liability. We want to keep both properties separate. And I think under the secondary dwelling, if he's had to sell one or the other, they have to go both sale at the same time. So that's the reason we didn't shoot for the secondary dwelling.
So
Whether that helps out or not in the future, but that was a buzzkill for us.
Thanks for keeping all the trees too.
Yeah. See ya. Thanks, guys.
Nice little stuff.
Clicking online.
Next item on the agenda, Andy Vandermoten, our county attorney. Any questions regarding agenda and other issues? Morning,
Good
Andy.
morning.
What do you have for us?
I don't think I have anything for you.
Okay,
Did we proceed with the abstract on that 52 property, Andy?
Say that again, Steve. I missed it.
Did we go ahead and initiate the abstract for the sale of the property on 52?
Yes. Yeah, they're gonna, they need to create a new abstract because I don't think anybody had one for it. So they're working on that.
Have you been in contact with their attorney on that agreement, telling them what our position
I
is?
had requested that buyers have their attorney contact me about it. I have not heard from him.
are you gonna be sitting in the closed session?
I can.
If we're gonna do it remotely, I'll need to get IT to set up a different session.
Well, I guess that's up to you. Do you think it's important?
I don't have the agenda in front of me. Dan, what's the item?
Well, it's a closed session for the discuss sale of property authorized under Iowa Code 21.5.
I'll sit in.
So, and you're gonna be remote?
I am.
So, if Fatima, if you're listening, can you set up a new closed session Teams link and send it to Andy and to the annex, so when we go to closed session, we can get him in?
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit then, Andy.
Yeah.
Oh, we have some time. Do you have anything you want to say?
I just wanted to meet you guys. I hadn't gotten up this far yet. I cover north central, northeast Iowa. I came on for the senator out of the Des Moines office. I was doing veteran outreach. We had a retirement, some people shifting around. I moved up into the regional director role at the end of last year. So I passed all my cards to you. Please feel free to reach out if there's anything I can do to be of assistance. I'm learning, doing the best I can, and I appreciate all the feedback. Anything I can do, anything I can help facilitate, whether with my boss or connecting you with people in DC, like the engineer with grants, things like that, please feel free to reach out.
One of the biggest things is we sit up here in Northeast Iowa, we have roughly 365 bridges in the county, which is, we're like number 4 in the state or whatever. And I mean, our funds are exactly the same as what everybody else gets, and we have our expenses. Yeah. I mean, that's our biggest problem up here is we can't,
Money for roads.
we're just limited to roads and bridge infrastructure is. And my take is, and you can bond for infrastructure, do that for a bond. But why can't we, I've always preached, why can't we have like savings, put $1 million or 1.5% levy for us is approximately what, $2 million? Why can't we put that, have a law, put that into effect, to put it into the account? Tell the public we're gonna build bridges or repair roads with just that money and save it up instead of having a bond, and have debt. Why can't we have a savings levy to save money for these projects instead of always gotta have a debt bond? That's my take. I mean, if you explain that to the public, they're not gonna argue with you. If they know exactly, here's what it's gonna go for, that's exactly what it went for. That's my take. If we could have a 1.5% levy just for infrastructure, roads and bridges, it'd be huge for us. Because like our machinery costs go up, graders, everything goes up. Since we've been sitting here 5 years, they went up probably 30-40%. Well,
If not more.
our
If not.
tax, that takes away from our roads and bridges. If we need equipment, labor goes up, that takes away from our roads and bridges. So we got to come up with some way to come up with just money for infrastructure. I mean, sure, we can save a little in the general fund, but then we got to cut something else out of there because we can't, if we're going to be tied, we can't raise nothing there. But to me, that levy, I'd call it a savings bond levy instead of a debt levy.
Kind of a reverse.
It's just a reversal of that, which, because I hear a lot out there, well, if we don't got the money, we're not gonna do it. Well, if we could do this, say, hey, we can save up.
The infrastructure will help counties a lot.
Yeah.
So the more infrastructure money you can. muck
Yeah,
up,
I mean, that's my take, some way to save the money and break, I could sell that all day long. I mean,
It's very,
ain't
very,
nobody-
very helpful.
Yeah, nobody's gonna argue about it. They knew exactly, but you gotta specify exactly. what's going on.
Because the problem with the bonding is, sure, you can obtain the funding, but then you have the interest that you're paying back.
Yeah.
And it really takes off of what you can accomplish with what you're bonding.
But then by the time you get that dump paid off, well, that road shot again, now you got started all, it's just a never ending battle to get. I mean, back when interest, if you could have, would have been 1% or less than 1%. Then now that would have, if you could have, that would have been a no brainer, but now you're talking 6, 7.
Well, we were kind of
That's
new to
just-
the game at that point in
Point.
time, and we were actually looking very hard into the bonding, but
And all of a
the
sudden,
interest rates kind of jumped over us and took away that ability to do that.
Well, then you get a lot of extra, bonding has a lot of other extra expenses associated to it besides just the interest.
that's the big take. I mean, that's what I've been preaching that for, if there's some way we could do that with, They save up for 2 or 3 years, get enough to do one road and then just keep doing that. Yeah,
I'll bring it
I
up.
mean,
I can-
that'd be a huge.
As
benefit.
sure as the sun comes up, there's one constant across north central and northeastern Iowa, and that is bridges.
Yep.
Bridges and roads. Bridges are big. That is-
Yep.
Every county I go to, that's.
We got-
They're
Conversation.
very expensive.
We got probably roughly what? 13, 14 of them just over the upper Iowa, pretty darn close, if not.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all 1.5 million to 2 million, so. and
Well, and
there's-
all the extra that goes into it too with the environmental and.
Yep,
And this is an issue that's agreed on by everybody.
Yeah.
You can sell this to everybody.
then we got 3, 4 of them on the Turkey River, so we got, and they're probably not quite, pretty much the high dollar, I mean, they're about the same.
Bigger bridges.
But that's, you take 18 bridges that cost scant $2 million a piece versus shoot, we get some counties probably ain't got hardly any.
They get by with box culverts and.
Box culverts,
$2 million
maybe one or
bridges.
two. But yeah, that's that's our biggest, be our biggest problem
the
up
gist of it.
here.
I
is,
appreciate it, I really do.
You know, I guess that's just my opinion on what I wish we could do.
Should talk with the engineer some too. and
Yeah.
See however I can be of assistance and help facilitate anything with my boss or our
Yeah.
DC teams. See if we can help with.
Sounds good. Thank you, Clayton.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Fatima, when we go into the closed session, can you record it for me so we get Andy's voice too? Fatima?
So can we go to closed session now?
Oh, well, we're going to go in just a couple minutes and can you record it for me and I'll get you a flash drive?
Yes.
Thank you. Doing any other business other than the closed session?
No, I don't think so.
no,
I can start hanging up the sign.
Hey, I got on late. Just curious as to what you decided on courthouse use space. County attorney.
As per that drawing that I had you review, Andy,
Constructing a new conference room in the hallway and taking over Mike and Mike's office.
adding the office in there, the other improvements in there, doors and security.
Sounds good. I don't know what your timing is on this exactly. But I do, the county attorney gets a share of revenue back from collections. Board of or the county gets a larger share, but we get 5% after we meet threshold. And I do have a few $1,000s in there. I wouldn't mind putting toward electronics in that conference room if that was something you're moving forward with sooner rather than later.
Yeah, the conference room idea is all a go. I do need to get with you to know what is going to be needed. I'm going to try to develop what is required for electronics plus power usage.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you'll be using a TV in there also. I'll have to get those.
Well, we typically have a TV, probably either camera system or an owl, for conferencing and for depositions, that type of thing. So, maybe whiteboard, but I can kind of put a laundry list together and get it to you, and we can go from there.
That would be great, Andy.
All right. Thank you. I will sign off this one and sign on to the other.
Thank you. Move to go into closed session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go into closed session to discuss the sale of property authorized under Iowa Code 2151J. All those in favor, say roll call.
Aye.
Shirley?
Aye.
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Aye, Alex. That's right. We changed how
We changed that because of recommendation of the attorney. I'm gonna sign this one off and sign in the other one that should have just in.
Thanks for bringing that up with Grassley's representative today.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion. We have a motion and a second on the table to reopen the open session. We'll do a roll call.
Aye.
Shelley, Mark,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
I also passes unanimously.
I'd like to make a motion to have our chair proceed with getting estimates on the parcels we discussed. Appraisals.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second for myself to acquire some appraisals on some of the land that we were discussing during a closed session. Is there any further discussion? None. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second for adjournment. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.
And just for your information, I'll just mention, I should have done that during the. But they did pass a budget bill this
Yeah,
morning.
I saw that.
I have not had a chance to read through it or make any opinion on what it says, other than I looked like the 2% cap
Yep.
is what it is, although there was a couple of transition years, I think, written into it, so.
But there may be something different on the supplement.
I don't think the supplemental was in there from what I read. It looked like it was, I only very briefly looked through it this morning, but it looked like it only addressed the general and the rural funds, kind of like the current rule. But don't quote me on any of that till I have a chance to actually read through it in depth and have.
I think
Christopher,
Miscellaneous, somebody wants.
And yeah, and the bill's like 109 pages long, but it covers the county's section and then the city's section and then school section. So like 2/3 of the bill doesn't really apply to this board. So, you know, we gotta go through the actual part that applies to counties.
I think it'd be nice to someday do a legislative discussion during an open meeting.
Okay.
Now that they've closed.
There's only one left here.
Thanks, Fatima. Now that the session is closed,
Yep.
it'd be nice to have a legislative update to the community on what bills were